Hey everybody, what's up? Yeah, I wanted to come on here real quickly while I have the opportunity, if you will. I would have done this earlier, except I just felt like resting. I just was, tired. I'll admit I didn't get that much sleep last night. So when you don't get that much sleep, you're bound to rest a little bit and want to just basically, take time to relax your body and stuff. Um, And basically, long story short, it's just basically on me that I should have done this earlier, but I didn't. Excuse me. And hold on while I check something, turn something on here. But anyway, and I don't know why YouTube does this on the television. They basically they, they catch. See, it continues the thing on the deal, but I don't know why it does that. But well, basically, what I'm saying is that YouTube, for some odd reason, when you stop it on certain videos, they just continue. Like when you go back onto the app on your smart device or your smart TV, it's like the video's audio just continues, like it's leaving what it left off, and then it just stops. I don't know why it does that. But anyway, as a lot of you have seen, and I thank you for the viewership that it's gotten in quite some time. You know, well, what I mean is, I want to thank you guys for the quick amount of viewerships that it's gotten in its short time on YouTube, where I basically talked about the fact that the time is now. The time is perfect for a female protagonist, a lead female protagonist to be seen in the Yu-Gi-Oh franchise. And hold on for a second, I do something. Yeah, just check it. But yeah, I feel that the time is now for a lead female protagonist to be seen in the Yu-Gi-Oh franchise, and I'm not talking like a co-lead protagonist alongside another lead. I'm talking straight up, female protagonist, main lead, basically in the same veins of a Jaden, as a Yusei, as a Yugi, as any of the other male protagonists. And I'm sorry, I just got a message there. If you heard anything, I got a message from Frank Hill. It's Frank. Um, but anyway, and I'll get back to him in a little bit. But anyway, like I said, it's mainly since the beginning, since here in the U.S. when we got the series around 2000 2001, and also mainly since its origins back in '96. It's always been a main male lead. There's not been an attempt at any female protagonist lead given. They've never, once attempted to do that. Like I said however, like I said in the video, like I said in the video, there's been um, several examples in the previous Yu-Gi-Oh series to where um, you could see the potential for something like that happening. And like with 5Ds, you have Akiza. With GX, you have Alexis Rhodes. And even with the original, you have My Valentine, and to an extent, Taya Gardner. You know, and several others that Yu-Gi-Oh everything. And I linked the video to that, and I actually linked his video where he talked about this. I think about a year ago. So at the end of the last video, and he mentioned some other ones as well from Zexal and Arc V, or Arc 5 as they call it, who have, been, in that same position of potential lead, or basically have shown the credentials, I should say, of lead female protagonists. The only thing is the way that they were cast. that because of the way they were cast, it made them look like they basically wouldn't have what it takes to be a female protagonist in something like, let's say, Yu-Gi-Oh, or a series like Yu-Gi-Oh. He also pointed out, and I didn't even know really whether or not this was true, but I kind of had an idea it might be leaning in that direction, that Shōnen Jump, basically the word shonen is meant to target young boys, basically boys, young males, preteen males, young adult males. You get the idea. Even males my age, that it's mainly meant to target them, and that very rarely will they allow a female protagonist to shine through. Not saying that Shonen Jump hasn't done that, with the properties in manga and anime. They have. There are some examples out there, not many, but there are some. Um, but it's always been mainly focused on the male protagonist. However, just like with Yu-Gi-Oh, just like with Yu-Gi-Oh, there are, and I thought I heard something there. But like I said, just like with Yu-Gi-Oh, there are prime examples, if you will, in other Shonen Jump related shows, to where basically a female has been focused on almost solely, if you will, for the solely for the purpose to see whether or not she could, you know, hang on her own. Basically, whether or not she can handle like being the main star, the main focal point of that series, at least for that story arc of said series. A good example is Nami, if you will, Nami in One Piece. We know that Luffy is like the main protagonist, but Nami, and to an extent, I think Nico Robin, but mostly Nami, has had several episodes to where she's been like the main female protagonist, like she's the main lead, like she's the center point. Even though Luffy is the main character, there have been several arcs, in manga and anime where Nami, and to an extent Nico Robin, have been given the opportunity to show that they could be on equal, on equal footing with someone like Nami when it comes to being like the main lead, the main female, the main protagonist, but from a female perspective. And from what I have seen, and I'm sure others have seen, Nami, and to an extent Nico Robin, have done more than just prove that. They have, they've gone beyond that in the story arcs, that the manga and the anime, have them be a part of. So that so to me, there's no reasoning for a Shonen Jump series like Yu-Gi-Oh not to attempt to do the same thing. I mean, even Noratru, I think I'm saying that wrong. I'm sorry if I pronounce it wrong. Noratru has even done this with Sakura. Sakura, the pink-haired girl. They've even done it with her. They've had several, from what I've seen, several story arcs and mangas to where she's been the center point. She's been the focal point. She's basically become the main protagonist of that story arc. And again, just like with Nami in One Piece, I think it was done to test the grounds to see how fans would react to someone like Sakura. And that was just my dog in the background. She's just she has allergies. She's fine. She's okay. But like I said, um, you've had Sakura in the same kind of situation as Nami, to where, as I was trying to say, you've had several story arcs in the manga and the anime um, focus on her, center around her, as if she was the lead main protagonist. And again, just like with the ones focused on Nami in One Piece, when the Narutro, yeah, that's the name, Narutro stories and arcs that would focus on Sakura would be read or adapted into anime and all that, people would watch them. You would have people watching them and enjoying them and wanting more of that because it's something different. It's basically you're stepping out of your comfort zone and showing that, hey, you're willing to go in a direction that normally, because of cultural differences, and I say that with all due respect, you wouldn't think is possible. You wouldn't think was possible whatsoever. But yet, here you are. Here you go. And even here in the US, even here in the US, they've done the same thing. With ins- with let's face it, anime, Shōnen Jump inspired series. A good example is Legend of Korra, which was a spin-off of Avatar. They could have chose any other character to be the lead as Korra, but they went the female route because to me, what they wanted to do was show uh, the Japanese culture and the animes and even the publication behind the animes and manga like Shonen Jump that hey, it's okay to have a female lead as your main protagonist, which Korra was in the Legend of Korra. So if so if a company like Nickelodeon and whatever animation company was, animating Legend of Korra and before that Avatar, is willing to go out and say, hey, see, a series that was inspired by what you guys give us, by what you guys show us, what you showcased in your Shonen Jump magazine. Hey, if we could have a series like that, utilize a main female lead as our main protagonist, you know, if we could have a series like that become such a huge hit, then what's stopping you guys from doing the same thing? I'm just saying. Um, Another example, as conflicting as it may sound, is I have to go back to a video that Silver Quill did a couple of years ago. You know, I have to basically go back to a video that Silver Quill did a couple of years ago, where he talked about the fact that, and it was a video focused on Spike, and you know, he was wondering one of the things he talked about because he asked this question, I believe, or somebody asked this question at one of the conventions. They were wondering why Spike wasn't getting that much focus in the earlier seasons, and the main creative staff's answer was, not the fact that they didn't like Spike, but because it was such a female dominated show and that our main characters were female leads, it was hard to try to find a place for Spike in the series. It was hard to write stories that would center around him without, potentially making him look goofy or whatever, which is why he was sometimes portrayed and treated the way he was. It wasn't until basically afterwards when they started to finally hear what the fans were saying that they decided, okay, let's see what happens if we give Spike and some focus, give him some respect, and go from there. And guess what happened? The moment they started to do that, all of a sudden they noticed that fans were being accepting of it. Fans were happy about it. Fans wanted more of it, and they continued to give him more of it. Continued to give him more stories focused around Spike. They started to see Spike treated, with respect and not like some joke or whatever. They started to see it, and they appreciated it because now, they were seeing that the people at DHX was in Hasbro was stepping outside of the comfort zone and finding success. And when it comes to something like Yu-Gi-Oh, the same thing could be said for them. All they have to do eventually, after Go Rush, is announce that the ninth or 10th Yu-Gi-Oh series, because you can't tell me they're not going to try for 10, that the ninth or 10th Yu-Gi-Oh series is going to focus on a female main lead protagonist. No co-leading or anything like that, no sharing the spotlight, just a plain, just a straight up female main protagonist. And to me, once they make that announcement that the ninth or the 10th one after Go Rush will be doing that, again, I believe they will find success. They will see that the reaction they will get is a positive one, not a negative one. And I think it would work. I think it could work. There's no doubt about it. Because again, when you go back to the Spike thing in Friendship is Magic, it wasn't until the fans spoke up that they gave him a chance, and oh my gosh, look at the result. So to me, like I said, if after Go Rush comes to a close down the line, and they get ready to announce that ninth and 10th series, because like I said, you can't tell me they're not going to do that. Then hopefully, when they make that announcement, they'll realize, hey, this is going to probably be our only opportunity to do this, and then that's when they'll make the announcement that either the ninth or 10th version of Yu-Gi-Oh is going to have a main female protagonist as their lead. No, like I said, no sharing the spotlight, no co-lead, just straight up, just like when it all started. You have one main lead protagonist. The only difference is this time the protagonist is female. And again, like I said, the reception that Shonen Jump, Konami, anybody, the people behind the series, will get from fans, not just potentially in Japan, but all around the world, especially here in the U.S. The reception of get will be a phenomenal one. It will be an unbelievable one, and I think they'd be fun. And I think by seeing that kind of reception they'll get, they might be like, maybe this is something we could try. And you know, off to the races you go. Off to the races you go. But again, like I said, you take a look at other Shonen Jump series like One Piece and Naruto, if you will, and you see that they've done it with the characters of Nami and Sakura, and to an extent over at One Piece, Nico Robin, and again, you see that it's possible that it is possible. And again, Shonen Jump has done series with female leads, but very few and in between. And like I said, with One Piece and Naruto, I mean Naruto, they've done it as well. But they've only done it for story arcs. But I think the reason they did it for those story arcs in the manga and in the anime is to test the waters and to see whether or not fans would be very receptive of a main female lead or protagonist, in the near future for one of their animes and manga. And obviously the answer an outstanding an outstanding yes. Is a withstanding, I should say, with is a without with sounding yes, an outstanding positive yes. So again, I think if they give it a chance in one of the future Yu-Gi-Oh incarnations, because like I said, I believe they might be heading to 10 of these, maybe more, that the reception they will get, the reaction they will get once that announcement is made, um, once that announcement is made, will be a positive one. It'll be a huge one. And somebody just asked me in the live chat what my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh monster is. It's Dark Magician Girl, and one of my first powerful cards I got in my decks called Ring Weaver. But anyway, getting back on topic, you know, it the reaction they would get by making that kind of an announcement would be huge. It wouldn't be a negative one; it would be a positive one. And everybody from TGS anime to Yu-Gi-Oh everything to anybody that talks about Shonen Jump animes, that involve talking about Yu-Gi-Oh, knows that that's a fact. They know that to be true. I mean, speaking of Dark Magician Girl, she was basically a catalyst. She was basically a main lead, not the main lead protagonist, but a co-main lead in the Waking the Dragon saga. She was. And if they're willing to basically say, hey, let's give Dark Magician Girl a big part in this, big dark, third, fourth season called Waking the Dragons, you know, you know, then to me, what they were doing was saying, "Hey, let's test the waters and see how fans will react to having her sort of like in that position." Not like main lead as, I'm hoping they do, but there's like a main lead to where like she's like the center point for the story arc to proceed around. Even though Yugi Atem, the Pharaoh, is still the main lead protagonist. So to me, they've tested the ground even with Yu-Gi-Oh! With the likes of Dark Magician Girl, Akiza, Mai, Alexis Rhodes, to Taya. So to me, they know it's so to me, they all know that it's possible to make it work. They know it's possible to make it, to make it happen. It's just up to them. It's up to them whether or not they should pull if they want to pull the trigger. And I think, like I said, whether they go to 10 Yu-Gi-Oh series or more, now is the best time to really consider making that announcement for a future Yu-Gi-Oh series, anime and manga. And again, I believe the reception they will get will be a positive, resounding, resounding, I should say, resounding, yes. There's no doubt about that, in my opinion. Because again, like I said, you take a look at One Piece and Naruto or Naruto, or yeah, Naruto, and you see that they're both Shonen Jump. I think Naruto is Shonen Jump. And you look at the fact that they've tested the waters with characters like Nami and characters like Nico, like characters like Nami and to an extent Nico Robin over on One Piece and Sakura over on Naruto, and you've seen the positive reaction that they have both gotten, by doing so, and it shows that fans are ready. They are ready. They are foaming. I would say they are foaming at the mouth, if you will, for this moment to happen. They are. And I think it would be a great opportunity. It would be a great change, a positive one, not a negative one, for the series. I really do. And anybody else watching this, right now or later on knows that. And again, I go back to the Friendship is Magic deal with Spike. Nobody thought, the staff thought that Spike wouldn't, be able to carry an episode as a lead or whatever. Guess what? He did, and, oh, guess what happened? Fans loved it. They enjoyed it, and they ended up doing more because they listened to the fans and they tried something different by stepping outside of the comfort zone, and it worked. And that's why we ended up getting the likes of the Student 6 because they stepped out of their comfort zone, or why we got an episode with the villains in the final season because they stepped out of the comfort zone, and all because they tried it out with Spike. And the reception that those Spike solo episodes got, especially later on in the series, were massively popular and over with the fans. And that's why we ended up getting more of them and other episodes that focused on other characters. The thing is, all Shonen Jump and all Konami have to do is just take a chance. Just say, hey, it's a risk, but it's a risk we're willing to take because, hey, times are changing. There's more female focus, you know, more of a focus on female activity in, you know, um, in entertainment and in sports and stuff like that, as well as in the political world. You know, why not take a chance? Why not take a chance and see what happens? I mean, you can't. I mean, the worst that could happen is fans won't be high on it, and you can just go back to the status quo, in my opinion, and that's about it. But to me, the timing couldn't be better. And again, like I said, the examples I talked about, I mentioned here, are great prime examples, especially from the Shonen Jump side of things, are great prime examples of them doing this. I mean, one of the Shonen Jumps, I think, Viz Media Shonen Jump franchises they work with, Dragon Ball, they've recently been doing it with a female Super Saiyan. I mean, come on. If they can do it, a long standard classic like that can do it, then I don't think I don't think there's any excuse, whatsoever for Yu-Gi-Oh, for the people behind the Yu-Gi-Oh franchise not to pull the trigger. So, because if they can do it, that being Dragon Ball, I think Yu-Gi-Oh can do it. There's no doubt. But anyway, though, guys, I just wanted to come on here real quickly and do this live stream, just a bit of a follow up to the last one, to come out and not only uh, further, basically um, back up and plead and basically strengthen mine and everybody else's case for this moment to happen in a series like Yu-Gi-Oh eventually, but also to give examples. And I just pulled something on there. If I hit the mic, I do apologize. But to also give examples of other media, other anime and manga media, especially Shonen Jump manga and media that has done this in the past, if not recently, as well as a more North American examples of this happening as well in series, like I said, with the whole Spike situation and Friendship is Magic, the inspiration that gave us the likes of Legend of Korra, stuff like that. And because to me, if all this that I mentioned is possible, is possible to give us an idea or show us that it can be done, then like I said, it shouldn't be whole. Then again, the likes of the Yu-Gi-Oh franchise, the people behind it, shouldn't be holding back on making it happen in any one of their series. So I think it is time. I think it is possible, and I think the timing now in this moment of our lives, this era of our lives, couldn't be any better for it to happen. Whether people agree with it or they don't. you know. But that again, people have a right to their opinion. If they don't like the idea, that's fine. But I think a majority of people that I've seen comment on the recent video that I'm doing that this live stream is a follow up to, you know, most of them have agreed that yeah, the time is now, and they would like to see it. And again, that shows nobody in the Yu-Gi-Oh fandom, young and old, newer fans, longtime fans, it definitely shows that they are willing, that they have been waiting, they are willing and have been waiting for a change like this to happen, and they would be accepting of it. And like I said, I think the moment that announcement gets made for the 10th or 10th or ninth iteration of Yu-Gi-Oh, I think honestly it will be positively, resoundingly received by fans. I really do. I really do. But anyway, though, guys, like I said, I just wanted to come on here real quickly and do this live stream for you. And, just like I said, do this follow up, give you the examples that I mentioned. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments um, afterwards when you watch this later on. How do you feel about it? Are the examples I gave good examples, or do you have any more that I may have missed? Let me know down in the comments below. Excuse me there. Also, check me out at BW Rose's discussions on all your favorite audio podcast locations except for Pandora. I am close to 300 podcasts, and listener support, if you're listening to the podcast on Anchor.fm, is activated. And if you're listening to the podcast on places like Spotify and Amazon Music, if they have it available with on them, video podcasting is also available. So you get your choices of two versions, the MP3 as well as the video, as well as check me out at BW Roses on Vimeo. Check me out at BW Roses at Patreon to support me with a $1, $3 tier. I might be doing a $5 tier in the future, which would mainly be Q&A, but don't hold me to that. And also check me out at Venmo at Brian-Walmer-2. But anyway, though, guys, like I said, I just want to come on here and do this follow up and give some prime examples from some Shonen Jump related or connected um, mangas and animes other than Yu-Gi-Oh that have pretty much tested the grounds with this, like One Piece and Naruto and even Dragon Ball Z to an extent, as well as mention about examples to where they've actually given, an opportunity to a female lead in what I consider a Shonen Jump like inspired series like Legend of Korra, and how even with Friendship is Magic, they finally took a chance on a character that they didn't think would probably be able to get over with his own episodes and stories in the show, that being Spike. and obviously they ended up being proven wrong, and thus we ended up getting more, episodes focused on him, as well as some other episodes focused on other characters like the Student Six and the Terrible Trio in the final season. But let me know what your thoughts are, guys. Comment below, like I said, and I will talk to y'all later. Thank you all for tuning in live, and I am out. You all have a good day. Take care. Have a good night. Peace.